Hello everyone! Now a few days ago, gamers got another kick in the ass. Now this isn't something we aren't used to by now, but the source was kind of surprising. Trump has finally lost his marbles. Take us out of Lightspeed, Jippo.
I am sorry, Master. Jippo's not here.
Wait, what? Where is he?
He is in his quarters playing his favorite games. He said he wanted to play them before they got banned forever.
Fucking slacker! Well, you take us out of Lightspeed then, C3FU. So, let's start with Trump's comments on CNN regarding the latest school shooting.
Look at the internet because a lot of bad things are happening to young kids and young minds, and their minds are being formed. And we have to do something about maybe what they're seeing and how they're seeing it, and also video games. I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts.
What the fuck? After years and years of defending video games from the Jack Thompsons of the world, we get this from a president who owes quite a big chunk of his upset win to the geek gaming online community. And seeing that more and more people play video games, according to a study from 2013, it was estimated that over 1.2 billion people play games. Granted that not every one of these games are violent, but let's face it, most games do involve some form of violence. Be it killing monsters in tower games, tossing birds at pigs, slashing enemies with lightsabers, or shooting your adversaries with bazookas. Out of the global internet population, 44% of the people say that they play games online. Surprising to me, it seems that Turkey is on top with a staggering 70%. But seeing that all of these people play games, and where most games contain some form of violence, let's have a look at the violent crime rate in America since gaming became popular or a household thing. Granted that there could be several reasons for the trend of lower violent crime, but it doesn't look like games would be a factor for increased violence though. Sure, there has been a little bit of an upswing in the last couple of years, but the state of affairs in America has not been the best lately. Lots of protests and violence against political opponents. In fact, I think gaming has the opposite effect on people with a well-functioning brain. You get your frustrations out in the games so that you don't take them with you into the real world. Because I still don't understand people who are bashing video games. You guys know that games aren't reality, right? We had one game reviewer being pissed at Middle-earth: Shadows of War because you could enslave orcs. The orc is a fictional character. They do not exist in the real world. You aren't enslaving people for real. And it's not like you're going to go out and enslave people in the real world simply because you enslaved an orc in a game. Now, some highly anecdotal input. Me and my IRL friends have been playing violent video games since we were, 12-ish, when the first Mortal Kombat game was released. We have since then played lots of violent video games, also Dungeons and Dragons style games and Warhammer figurine style games, all with lots of violence. And none of my IRL friends have ever committed a violent crime, at least not that I know of, because none of them have ever went to jail or even went to court for such a crime. No, what it all boils down to is state of mind and health of mind. A healthy mind knows the distinction between what's real and what's fiction. A healthy mind does not grab the first blunt object they find and go out whacking people after they've been playing a violent video game. It's the same with any form of violent sport. A healthy mind does not go out punching people in the streets after they've been working out in a boxing gym. America's problem in general, and while not directly linked to gaming, but since Trump brought it up, I'm going to address it. America's biggest problem isn't guns in general. Considering how many people own guns versus how many homicides there are, the stats show this. The biggest problem with having access to a gun is the increased suicide rate. Taking pills or poison is slow, and you might get help in time. A gun is kind of final, unless you shoot yourself in the leg or something. But, as I've showed you on the chart with the violent crime, all violent crime has been on a decline for the last 2 decades, with a slight increase in the past couple of years. And while mass shootings are horrific, and something that you don't ever want to happen, gun restrictions will not be much use in this instance, except for a few that I will bring up shortly. Now, if a maniac wants to get a gun, they can obtain a gun in a non-legal way and still commit these horrendous crimes. I mean, we had a school massacre in Sweden as well. No guns, but swords. Yeah, you heard, swords. Now, there has been a lot of talk about assault rifles lately, like the AR-15. While I personally don't get why any citizen would need these type of weapons, they are not the ones that people should be concerned about. A person with a high-powered scope could do so much more damage and remain undetected for much longer than a person with an AR-15. And if a person is in a concealed carry state, then they are most likely gunned down fairly fast. Now, what to do then? Well, America does have a huge problem with mental health. And no unfit person should be allowed near a gun. All loopholes must be closed and stricter controls and follow-up on gun owners to check if they are fit or not. Because, you know, mental health is a changing thing. It's not static. So there needs to be follow-ups every once in a while. Now, this might even decrease the suicide rates as well. And affordable mental health care would also be a step in the right direction. Guns are dangerous in the hands of people who are unfit to handle them. Unfortunately, we live in a world where guns are a thing, and until there is a viable non-lethal solution, we are going to have to live with guns in our lives. Now, I drifted off into gun control here a bit, but it was a decent segue, I think. But yeah, video games aren't the problem mental health is. Besides being an unwinding tool for a lot of people, games also have other great benefits. Here are some. 1. It can help people with dyslexia to get better at reading. 2. It can improve your vision because you're looking for detail and distinguishing from different shades of the same color. 3. With the start of the Wii, many companies did their own form of movement interaction with the games. And thus, you actually can become more fit while playing games. 4. The creative aspect of the game. All kinds of games are included in this. These creative aspects can be used in real life as well. These skills could help you become more social and an even more valued worker. 5. Games can improve your memory and cognitive functions. Games are brain training. 6. It can take your mind off any ailment that you might have in real life. Since you're focusing on the game, you aren't putting all that attention into your pains. 7. With online games, you learn how to be more social, build up your friend group. This is also great for the chronically shy people. Here you can interact without feeling that everyone is watching you. You can also be anonymous if you want to be. and that makes it so much easier to talk to other people. Number 8. Especially with the MMORPGs, you find yourself in a guild or a group that you can form a deep bond with. When you play with them a lot, they can become really close friends, and you might even meet them in real life at some point. This is good for everyone that has trouble finding friends. 9. Games can also improve your decision-making skills. If you struggle to make decisions in life, games can help you improve that skill, since most games do require making a lot of decisions. You might not think about it while doing it though, but that will help you in real life. 10. Games are great for relieving stress. Got frustrated at work? Sit down for an hour or two and whack some orcs with your giant hammer. Works every time. 11. Gamers also makes better surgeons, it seems. Finding details, quick hands, quick decisions, and the ability to keep stress down. All signs of a gamer. So, before bashing games, do take all of these into consideration. But back to Trump. I had totally forgotten he was there.
And then you go the further step, and that's the movies. You see these movies, they're so violent, and yet a kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved, but killing is involved, and maybe they have to put a rating system for that.
Look, dumbass, there are ratings on games and movies. It's up to the parents to decide what games a kid should be allowed to play and what movies a kid should be allowed to see. It's that simple. Sure, we all know that kids are crafty and they will most likely play that game and watch that movie at their friend's house. Not much you can do about that unless you call all of your kids' friends' parents and make them think the same way. But if you do that, you might ostracize your kid. But at least be aware of what kind of games your kids play at home and what kind of movies they watch, especially if you think that your kid can't handle those games and movies. Parents know their kids, or at least should. That way they should be able to tell if a kid is mentally unfit, perhaps temporarily, to play certain types of games. With a maturing mind, however, most kids are fully capable of distinguishing between fact and fiction. Just remember though, kids still need to go out and socialize and move their bodies, get some air and so on. That's very important, don't forget that. But as an ending note, gamers really don't have any friends in politicians. We should all know this by now. Unless America changes how their political system works with only 2 parties, well, 2 and 1 non-functional, we will most likely never see a game-loving congressman or woman. They will most likely have to conceal that. And yeah, this was kind of ranty, but it still needed to be said. Now I wonder how many of Trump's core voters have left the fold after this announcement. That should be an interesting thing to see. The right-wing media are already playing the 4 more years melody. I'm not so sure. Time will tell, I guess. And now, I'm off to hunt some more Jedi. Have a great day, all.